Good day, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In this episode of the ongoing coverage of the civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia, we have received new intelligence of ongoing operations on the ground and chatter that is coming out of Addis Ababa as well. So, first and foremost, on the battle front, as we know, thousands of Tigrayan Defense Force troops have begun moving into Dessie and Kambalcha, and we can also report that within the last 24 hours, the first fairly significant street to street fighting occurred inside of the confines of Kambalcha, allegedly between elements of Fano and other Amhara nationalist paramilitary forces located inside of this rather large city. It would appear that there was significant fighting that went on overnight and into the day. But in the end, those forces of the Amhara regional militias were driven out of the city. It would appear right now that the only significant force that is preventing further drives to the southwest and the southwest and south, obviously, would be towards Addis Ababa and the capital, also known as Fin. Is that going to happen? Quite possibly. Again, in the speeches and the information coming out of Addis Ababa, there seems to be a definite fragmentation between the Prosperity Party, the political leadership inside of Addis Ababa, and especially some of the leadership elements within the Amhara region as well, regarding the Ethiopian National Defense Forces. So both the political leadership of the Prosperity Party and the political leadership and the military leadership inside of the Amhara region does not believe that the Ethiopian National Defense Forces are no longer a cohesive fighting force that has the ability to stop the Tigrayan Defense Forces from advancing towards Addis Ababa. There has been widespread implementation of various emergency measures. We will now start to see the commandeering, possibly, of automobiles and privately owned property in an effort to repurpose those items for the war effort. And that is a significant development that we're seeing now. We could also start to see, and we've probably already started to see that, the force conscription, and we've seen obviously some captured Ethiopian National Defense Force personnel, the Abiy loyalists that were pressed into service of a very young age, some possibly as young as 13, 14 years old. And even possibly younger, that have been captured and have documented their age for their captors and conducted video interviews as well. But right now, the messaging coming out of Addis Ababa is that it does not believe in its military, meaning the Ethiopian National Defense Forces. All confidence it has seemed to be lost in the general staff of the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, and that is now being messaged to the public at large by basically, well, not basically, they are informing people that the TDF is on the way, and to arm yourself and prepare to fight, because they no longer have faith in the so-called Ethiopian National Defense Forces. And it really has. It has really crumbled. It has been crumbling since the fighting that has occurred just south of Weldia near Mersa, with Jale Hike, and then just north of Dessie. These were the key moments that broke the back of the Ethiopian National Defense Forces. And as I talked about even many months ago, that eventually we would see this conflict transform, where quite possibly you would see just an Amhara regional army take the place of the Ethiopian National Defense Forces. And I think we're in the process of actually seeing that right now, where the ENDF may simply dissolve, and a more Amhara regional army will take over as well. And that's going to bring, obviously, some significant challenges with it as well along ethnic lines. But we've also heard talk that there could be possible talk of a coup d'etat by the remnants of the Ethiopian National Army, as they, meaning they, the members of the high command of the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, the general staff, do not want to be the fall guy for this conflict. So right now, the political body of the Prosperity Party and Abiy Ahmed are pointing fingers at the military, the ENDF, the Ethiopian National Defense Forces. Now, ultimately, the decision that was made to invade the Tigray region and set all of this in motion was the result of the Prosperity Party and the Abiy Ahmed regime. Now, is there to blame to fall on the Ethiopian National Defense Forces? Absolutely. At some point, they should have known that they did not have the capability to go in, seize control of the entire Tigray region, kick the hornet's nest, and proceed as normal. And that's exactly what occurred. And now they are being held accountable for those actions. We're seeing that on a wide scale right now. But again, right now, in terms of operations near Desse and Kambalcha, we could start to see a fairly rapid advance. We've started to hear that there are liaison efforts between the Oromo Liberation Army and the Tigrayan Defense Forces. They could be working together as we speak to start a plan for a final and rapid drive towards Addis Ababa, depending on what sort of resistance the Amhara regional government is able to deploy to defend it, Addis Ababa, and then obviously what remains of the Ethiopian National Defense Forces. Not a lot. Their main capabilities was expended near Desse and north of Desse in that botched offensive that really kind of got this ball rolling downhill for them. And again, they are simply not in a very good position, and that's really both of them, the Ethiopian National Defense Forces and the Amhara regional militias. There was a lot of talk, a lot of boasting about conscription, and they did do that, and they did raise forces, but they moved too quickly. They deployed a lot of forces in units that have not been trained, that have not worked together, and simply the training has been abysmal. They are not well equipped, and they were just not ready to be thrown into the maelstrom of war as they were, and this has led to this catastrophic defeat we are seeing now. And we will probably continue to see these defeats occur again and again and again as they move towards Addis Ababa. Now, with that being said, there still is a lot of tenacity coming out of the Abiy Ahmed Prosperity Party, and there's still a lot of tenacity coming out of the Amhara regional governments that indicate that they are still willing to fight. It looks like neither side is really asking to talk or wanting to talk at this point. And quite frankly, I don't believe the Tigrayan Defense Forces would talk. I believe at this point, this whole conflict, both political and non-political, military, can be resolved by military means. And it is going to be resolved by military means with the complete capitulation and utter surrender by one side. And that's kind of what we're looking at right now. The breaking of the back of the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, the now merging of the OLA and the TDF in terms where they may be working together and in conjunction towards a common goal. And then finally, a drive towards Addis Ababa. But again, this conflict is very fluid right now. There are things going on in the background in terms of foreign entities, and it's just not foreign entities that would include the United States that would be pressuring the Tigrayan Defense Forces to stop its advance towards Addis Ababa. Obviously, the State Department does not want to see chaos. They fear that if there is a rapid advance and a fall of the fall of Addis Ababa, there would be utter chaos, and then obviously the war would continue because of the Amhara region. Eventually, either there would have to be total capitulation of the Amhara region, which is probably unlikely, or a march towards Bahir Dar and Gondar. But that is the current situation. We're monitoring the situation very, very closely. Again, very fluid, very rapid moving event right now, and we will be back soon with further reports. Have a great day, everybody.